Scorpio Crosswatchers or Crosswatchers for Scorpio. Welcome to the cross-watching video for October 2019. If you're a Scorpio and you're just kind of watching to see what I'm going to say to the crosswatchers, keep in mind these are still general readings. They may or may not apply. Also, your person may not be watching my channel or they might not be into tarot readings overall. So there's different factors, but this is geared towards cross-watcher energy. So I'm asking Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael to come into this reading space and to bring information for cross-watcher, what is going to be in their best and highest good to know about Scorpio, so that this relationship can be healed or high vibrational, and that good for all can occur. Highest good for all involved. All right, so what is going on for our lovely cross-watchers, cross-watching for Scorpio? What must you keep in mind for your Scorpio? What does Scorpio need you to know or understand right now? One more shuffle. Scorpio energy has been kind of intense the past few weeks in the readings, and I think last week's, not last week's, I think last month's cross-watching video was also like a little, more intense energy. I think Scorpios tend to get more intense this time of year as it comes into Scorpio season. But we're going to see what is coming up for you to keep in mind. All right, so at the foundation, we have the sun coming up. And so it's very interesting that we have the sun coming up because for me, it really kind of confirms something that came up. And I think it was was it the October love reading for Scorpio? It may have been the cross-watching video for September. But something came up for Scorpio that your Scorpio was very busy doing something that might be putting them in the public eye. The fact that the Sun card is coming up for October makes me feel like this may be happening or this is beginning to happen. So your Scorpio might be in an energy where they're very busy with opportunities or attention. They may be very busy with work, but they should be in like a happy kind of energy because there's good things happening. Furthermore, they may be starting to feel more ready to think long-term in terms of relationship or settling down. Okay, Scorpios are very, very independent, so they might be feeling like they've reached independence in other ways, or like they're receiving credit or, some kind of accreditation or some kind of, progress is happening in their life to like now they're maybe feeling, okay, well, now I'm ready to kind of look at the romantic life of things. Also, this is a major arcana card. So this is telling us, Crosswatcher, that a lot of you who are watching have a very strong past life with this Scorpio and that you all have met for a reason or may have a contract with one another. For me, the Sun card is a card about true love, but it's very much also understanding a healthier kind of love where two people are not clingy on each other or they're not codependent on each other. So I think that you all are going to be making this relationship work for you in a way where there is some time apart. Like you might not be spending every day together. You might not even be spending every weekend together. There may be like you're busy with your thing, they're busy with their thing, but the relationship is very strong. And in some ways for you, that's even strengthening it, okay? The Sun card is also associated with children. So Scorpio and Crosswatcher, you all may be having plans or discussing children or discussing what you would like to have in the future in terms of children. And it could be inner child stuff as well. Like your inner child might be coming out to play with their inner child. But I'm just feeling a sense of happiness and planning and fun and security. Overall, else, I'm feeling a sense of security. As your Scorpio is establishing security for themselves on a personal level in their life, they're becoming more open to discussing security in terms of a relationship or with someone else. And it's going to be very important for them. I have to say something to you guys, Crosswatcher, with the Sun card here. It's giving me a feeling of you know how I was talking about the relationship, but you all have your own thing going on. Like Scorpio has their thing going on, Crosswatcher, you have your thing going on, and it's not a clingy situation. I feel some of you who are dealing with a Scorpio, and you already know, Crosswatcher, like you already feel like, you know what, this Scorpio has commitment issues. And you may have realized that it's not necessarily about other people. Like they're not necessarily out there like sleeping with a bunch of different people, or they're not necessarily out there dating a bunch of people. They've just maybe been afraid about the permanence of just settling in and saying, all right, hunkering down, this is it, this is my person for the rest of forever. And so those of you who've been dealing with that, your Scorpio is finally ready to commit. Okay, Scorpio is finally ready to commit. So for you to help that along, make sure you're giving them the opportunity to like to do things and to just kind of, you know, have that sense of freedom or independence, because it's still new, right? And you don't want to spook them. You don't want to spook them. I think some of you are dealing with a Scorpio that may have been spooked in the past, but because of the connection with you, they seem to be, you know, wanting this to happen. You know, but just as they're coming into commitment, or as they're coming into being ready to commit, you know, just kind of play it easy, play it cool, you know, just kind of let it happen. But I really do feel that strong sense that some of you are dealing with a Scorpio that had a hard time committing in the past, and they're feeling ready to commit with you at this time or in October. And sure enough, here we have Ace of Swords. So this is going to be communication, ideas, planning, things of that nature. But Ace of Swords for me is a card that indicates breaking out of limited thinking, the kind of thinking that was holding you back, you know, false beliefs that just simply are not true, or at least are not true on the current vibration and the current energy. And so I feel like your Scorpio is dealing with, you know, coming out of a lot of limited beliefs. And I feel like your Scorpio, for whatever reason, Crosswatcher, needs you to see this too. Like they need you to see the way that they're looking at the world, and they're kind of wanting to teach you what they're seeing or what they're realizing, and they're wanting you, Crosswatcher, to come out of your own limited beliefs. I really feel like your Scorpio is going to start opening up and speaking to you, and this is important. This is very important because Scorpios keep a lot to themselves. And so I feel as they're opening up, they're wanting to make sure that you are going to understand them and understand the way that they're thinking, the way that they're looking at things. I do feel for some of you, this is going to be an issue regarding children as you're planning for children. I kind of feel like Scorpio is laying down their deal breakers in terms of how children are being raised between you all, or how children should be raised if children have not come into existence yet. I feel for some of you, this communication is just overall about their expectations of the relationship, their boundaries, their deal breakers. They're really laying it down for you. And I think what the Scorpio is trying to say is like, look, I know you really care about me, and I really care about you too, but, you know, I'm ready to be alone if I need to be alone, right? And I don't want to lead you on, or I don't want to hurt you. So if this relationship is going to work, here are the things that I really need. Like, here are the things that need to happen. And if they aren't happening, then I can't go through with this relationship. So I do feel for some of you, this Scorpio is opening up and being very honest, because they're just trying to make sure that you all are on the same page and you all want the same things. And my advice to you, Crosswatcher, is if there is something that you're not comfortable about, or that, you know, you don't want, or you feel is too much of a sacrifice, don't feel like you have to say yes simply because Scorpio is finally ready to commit or finally ready to do this. I mean, Scorpio understands that you know, it might be more than what you're ready to get into. And that's why they're having the conversation with you. They're not going to be angry at you if you decide, I can't do it. And for whatever reason, for a lot of you, I do feel it has to do with their employment. They might be in a line of work that is lucrative, but maybe it's dangerous. You know, maybe they do something where they're putting their life on the line every single day. Like, can you handle that? Can you think about, you know, being with someone who's maybe like a first responder or like in law enforcement or something, you know, male or female, you know, like, can you handle that they're in that role and like, you know, it's dangerous? Can you handle that risk? Are you going to be okay if something happens, or are you going to be able to accept that something could happen? Like, it could be a lot of pressure. It could be a lot of long hours. It could be a lot of time that they're going to be away. Like, are you sure you want this? You know, and especially if you all are talking about kids, they might be in a position where they're not going to be able to be around a whole lot for these kids, you know. Not that they don't care about the kids, but, you know, they're busy with their career and their work, and that might be, you know, keeping them away a lot. Just things like that. Like, they're just really wanting to make sure that you all are on the same page and that you're seeing the future of this relationship logically. For other ones of you, you are dealing with a Scorpio who is in some way in the public eye, or who's being seen in the public eye, or who's beginning to get attention. And so, like, they're wanting to know that you're going to be able to handle that. Like, are you going to be paranoid? Are you going to be, you know, if you are dealing with somebody who's coming into a large amount of money, or a large amount of, you know, being known or seen, like, can you handle that there's going to be people chasing after them? Can you trust them if they're saying, look, I'm not doing anything with these people. You can trust me. You know, I'm not like giving into temptation. Or they might be very real with you and they might say, look, you know, if I have somebody coming at me, you know, if every single time I've got people coming at me and, you know, maybe, you know, 50 times I say no, but maybe the 51st time, you know, I've grown weak and I can't say no. Are you going to be able to handle that? So they might be very real with you, and you might be surprised with how real they're being with you. And again, if something is like, if it bothers you, don't feel like you have to accept it. You know, because Scorpio is just coming at you being very honest that this is how the situation is going to be. Have you thought about it? Are you sure you want this? Because I also feel the energy here is like they want this to be final. They don't want this to be a situation where like you all are going to get together and then break up, or you guys are going to move in together or get married or get engaged and it's not going to work out. I really feel because they're in this energy of like being ready to commit, like they're final about this and they want to know that like you all are on the same page. They don't want to go into it if there's a risk that it might not work out. I mean, obviously things sometimes happen that we're not anticipating or expecting, but they're just wanting to know that going in, this is like as concrete as can possibly be, because they don't want to invest in it otherwise, and they don't want you to invest in it otherwise if it's not 100% something that you're ready for or that you're wanting. Next here we have King of Swords. Okay, so some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio who has a moon or rising or a Venus that is in the sign of air. And so those might be some traits or things you're seeing come out about them, or you're seeing a different side of them, the more logical side or planning side. However, you know, this could just be in general, you know, it could be you coming in, you know, with your ways of seeing things and how you feel about a situation, and you know, like you putting down your deal breakers and your requirements, because King of Swords is sometimes like the negotiator card. King of Swords can also sometimes represent attorneys, lawyers, because that's what lawyers do. Lawyers negotiate. Lawyers, you know, try to find a way to, you know, right a wrong or come up with an agreement that's going to be pleasing. And sometimes, you know, King of Swords is in that energy. King of Swords is really good at figuring out how to present what he wants or what he's going after in a way that is going to be beneficial for the other person. King of Swords is good at figuring out what the win-win is. Like, okay, well, if I get what I want, here's what's in it for you. Here's why it works out for you. And here's why it's good for both of us. So King of Swords is good at finding that common ground. Okay, for some of you, and I have to say this, you know, Crosswatcher, for some of you, your Scorpio, as they're coming to you and they're expressing their concerns, some of it could be that maybe they feel like you're too much in this King of Swords kind of energy. Before I say that, I'm sorry, I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. When I was talking about lawyers and agreements, this could also be a prenuptial agreement. Your Scorpio might be requesting a prenuptial agreement. That might be the deal breaker for some of you, or that might be what they're telling you is the deal breaker, because especially if they're coming to a certain thing of success, like they're wanting to know that if this really does go as far as they think they're going to go, that you're not going to be trying to take money from them, or that like you're here for the right reasons. And some of you might be hurt by that. Some of you might be offended by that, but that could be coming up for those of you who are dealing with a Scorpio who's kind of like in this fast track of success. But going back to what I was saying about, for some of you, the King of Swords might be the Scorpio is feeling like you're too much in the King of Swords energy. For me, King of Swords is a card or a person where the person is very logical and very good at coming up with solutions, but they're not always in the most passionate of energies, or they're not in the most like affectionate of energies. And your Scorpio, because your Scorpio is laying down their guard and they're ready to do this and they're wanting to be in a relationship, you know, that physical connection, that emotional intimacy is going to be super important for a Scorpio. So I feel like your Scorpio might be telling some of you, like, you know, I kind of want us to make sure that like we're on the same page about how we're expressing emotions or love or feelings, or, you know, just being more passionate. And so for some of you, that is something that's being discussed or you're having to work out. Again, these are general readings and they're going to apply in different ways for different ones of you. Crosswatcher, I highly recommend that if you know your person's Venus sign, if you know your Scorpio's Venus sign, might be a good idea to cross-watch their Venus. But it's also going to be an excellent idea, Crosswatcher, for you to watch your love video for October, because I've already done the love videos for October, so I'd recommend watching your love video for the month of October. The link for those are in the description of this video. That way you can kind of piece together the puzzles of the different readings and then find really what resonates and kind of put a little bit more of a personal spin on it. But keep in mind, these are general readings. So next year we have 9 of Pentacles. And so this is going to be success. And again, this is like a my money kind of thing. My money, your money kind of thing. That's what I'm feeling with the 9 of Pentacles. So I do feel there's going to be a lot of talk around finances between you guys. Like if this is a relationship that's going to happen, you guys are also like looking at the finances and who's bringing what to the table and how it's going to be. I do feel that for some of you Crosswatchers, you're going to begin getting very busy with your own things, because remember how we talked about, you know, Scorpio, you know, is ready to commit, but there needs to be that sense of freedom and you guys both doing your own thing. I feel that as you're getting more involved in your own thing, Crosswatcher, Scorpio is watching you on your journey, on your path. They're seeing the things that you're accomplishing. They're very proud of you. And it's like making them fall for you more. And it's not a financial thing. It's not because they're like obsessed with money, but because they see you working towards something. They see you being passionate about something. They see you accomplishing things, and that's making them very proud of you. And that's making them like want you more or feel more kind of secure or sure about you. So I feel like your Scorpio is really encouraging you to do well. And to have your own stuff, you know, so that you don't feel like you're going to be stuck in this relationship, or you don't feel like you're going to have to depend on them, or vice versa. You know, like they want both of you to have your own kind of thing. And it's like, it's making them admire you more, because Nine of Pentacles is also sometimes like a secret admirer card, like somebody watching you from a distance. Okay. Some of you maybe are cross watching for a Scorpio and you're not sure how they feel about you. I feel like the Nine of Pentacles would be saying that, hey, you know, like they have noticed you and they are looking at you and they're working on themselves and they see you working on you, and they might be thinking, hey, we could be a really cool power couple. So they may be getting ready to reach out to you. They may be ready to try to make this work out, or to try to make this happen. Okay. So that's going to be happening for you. For some of you. So again, general readings, it's going to apply in different ways. Next here we have, oh, look at this, communication. So those of you where you've been crushing on a Scorpio and you're not sure if anything is going to happen, they could very well be coming up to you and approaching you. Maybe, you know, end of October. For some of you, it could go into November or December, but they're getting ready to approach you and take the step and say, hey, like, let's get to know each other, or hey, like, let's move this forward. Those of you that, you know, we talked about passion being an issue, Eight of Wands is saying you're getting it figured out. It's not going to be a problem for very long. And oftentimes with the Scorpio, it won't be a problem for very long, because Scorpio is very much about that connection and figuring out like what kind of, you know, works for somebody, and being pretty open to giving that to their partner. So I really do feel like there's gonna be you know, there's gonna be you know, you guys are all coming together. Oh gosh, I didn't mean it in that way, but I didn't mean it in that way, but you know what I'm trying to say. But you know, there's just this energy of, you know, just being in this union, you know, solidifying the relationship, moving forward with things. And it's funny because I do feel like a lot of you have been with the Scorpio where it just seems like it's been dragging, or it's been taking a long time to move forward, or it's been taking a long time for your Scorpio to let them know if they're, you know, to make a move. Maybe you all aren't together, but you've been waiting for Scorpio to make a move. And I feel like that all is happening this month. And all of a sudden, with that Eight of Wands, it's going from being very slow or being non-existent to all of a sudden boom, 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 boom. Like it's moving forward, and it's moving forward quickly. You know, some of you could have something happening, like an engagement happening, and then like a marriage very quickly thereafter. Some of you could have something happening like eloping. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you end up like going off and eloping with a Scorpio. But very much that kind of energy. So it's going to be different for different ones of you, right? It's not the same for everyone. That's why it's a good idea to watch your love videos for the month of October, and maybe watch the Venus video, Crosswatcher Venus video for your Scorpio if you know their Venus. So different, you know, different ways it's going to apply, but that might be some ways you can piece it all together. Some of you may be needing a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do. If you click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, it's going to tell you the different reading options that are available, the times that are available, how much it costs. You can go ahead and schedule right on in there. And guys, please, 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 Crosswatcher, don't forget to watch your weekly forecasts. I know love is important, but sometimes we get so caught up in, you know, what's going on in somebody else's life or what's going on in our love life that we forget about everything else that makes us human. You know, our spirituality, our family connections, our career, our finances, things of that nature. And that's why, for that reason, every single week I do a general reading for all zodiac signs. So be sure you watch the weekly forecasts as well, just to see what's going on in your life. It's normal to be curious about love. It's normal to have love be a priority, but don't forget about the rest of life. Don't forget about you. Make sure you're watching the weekly forecasts as well. I thank you so very much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting. I'm wishing you a fabulous week, my dears. Oh, a fabulous month, I should say. But I hope you'll watch the weeklies. All right? Take care.